Welcome back to WagerTalk.com. We're talking Big 12 football. Before we get to that, college basketball tips off this Friday, November the 10th. Go to WagerTalk.com. Check out my college basketball guide. You'll have returning starters on all 351 teams, plus my exclusive power ratings. It's available now. WagerTalk.com, and then go to news and college basketball. Make sure you check it out. Preston, we're talking a Big 12 National Championship elimination game. TCU and Oklahoma. Who keeps their playoff hopes alive?
Ooh, I don't know if I'm confident taking either side, even straight up versus even the spread where TCU is getting 6.5. My number for the game 6. The thing with and the reason I liked Oklahoma State last week and I liked them to win the conference, and Oklahoma's pass defense is still really, really bad, and we saw it last week. They gave up 52. Mason Rudolph threw a key interception in the end zone in the fourth quarter earlier on, and then they couldn't score on that last drive after Baker Mayfield made a mistake throwing that interception themselves. But it was all over the place. And you look, I don't know if people know this stat, but Oklahoma, by far, huge margin, is number one in pass completion percentage offensively. They complete 73% of their passes almost, which is just ridiculous. But I wasn't sure. I'd looked in a couple weeks, but TCU's been one of the best in the country on that stat as far as their opponent pass completion percentage, and they're still the third best. They're 49% behind Michigan and Virginia Tech. So those two kind of clash now, as you're going to get an Oklahoma team who's really good offensively and can throw, and we saw them throw Oklahoma State, but they're not going to be able to really just do that against TCU. TCU's not going to just bend and then break. I think I lean to the points in TCU just because I have to, and I think it's a closer game. But something in me kind of tells me that Baker Mayfield's just going to run away with the Heisman and finish this year out, getting them to the playoff again. So I'm torn. I know Marco has some points here to take one of the sides, but it's going to be interesting to see really how the passing games match up. I think that's my favorite and most intriguing part of this matchup.
Marco, if they watched our long shot for the national championship, you prefaced who you like, obviously, so share with us if they haven't seen that video yet.
Yeah, you know what, guys, in horse racing, we have a term. If a horse has a huge effort, we say that horse you worry about him bouncing in his next start. And what that means is that the horse comes out with a dull effort after such a big outing. And I got to say, Oklahoma is ripe for the bounce after last week. I know they still have the national championship, the main goals there, and you can't afford, to have a letdown. But, guys, these are 20-year-old kids. That was an epic game last week. I mean, up and down the field, it was one of the most entertaining games to watch if you're just a pure college football fan, and then to see those two quarterbacks put up the numbers that they did. How do they come back this week off of that? And then, as we said, TCU, this is something that TCU does that people just don't do in the Big 12. They can't spell defense, most of these teams in the Big 12, let alone play it. And TCU is the number 5 ranked defense in the country, yards per play, allowing just 4.4 yards per play. They're ranked 6th in total yards allowed, 284. Now, as you said, it's going to be strength versus strength. We've got the best offense against one of the best defenses. But, I'm old school. You give me defense and points, I'm going to look at it. And one of the big indicators that I went with as well in this game is this line did open up at 7. And you've got Oklahoma that everybody saw them put up 62 points last week. And the early number that we saw, the movement, went from 7 to 6.5. Do you know how much it takes to move a number from 7 to 6.5? It was early in the week. It was the sharp money, and I agree with it. I'm on TCU here. I've got them. I think it's going to be another barn burner game, and they're not going to hold them down like they did the last 4 opponents. Do you realize that in Big 12 play, TCU's held their last 4 opponents to 6-0, 14, and 7. Now, granted, none of those teams have Oklahoma's offense. I'm going to call for TCU to get the win, 31-30, and they are my sleeper team to find their way into the Final Four for the championship.
You going to take some of your sleeper money for the championship and bet them on the money line this week?
I'll take the 6.5 this week, and then they get by here, then I'll have the money rolling with the sleeper money at 40-1.
We know there's a holiday right around the corner, but Marco, tell us about ringing in the new year with a great special you have.
Yeah, guys, we've been going really well. Came off a great baseball season, picking things up with football, NBA underway. I've been very selective. I've had one play so far in the NBA. We won it Monday night. But if you want to come on board and go through the end of the season, ring in the new year, 30-day package is $325. If you jump on board right now, you can get all of my plays through December 31st for $325. In essence, you're paying for December, getting the remainder of November free. Jump on board. That's all plays. We've got college basketball starting, the NBA. You've got college and NFL football. Great time to do it. You'll get most of those bowl games going through the, December 31st. Jump on board, $325.
Thank you, Marco. Best Bet TCU. 7-day all-access package, $99. It's a great deal, but think about that. You've got Preston with a rare 5% play. You can get $30 off his 7-day all-access. Or Marco's ringing in the new year. It's like paying $49 each week for his all-access. Or try 1 week, $99, WagerTalk.com.